Hello, screenwriters, and welcome to Writing for Screens, the screenwriting step-by-step project, episode number 165. My name is Glenn Gers, and I come to you every Monday through Friday, if I can make it, at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to let you look over my shoulder, share my screen as I write a script. And I do this in order to teach a part of screenwriting that I think is under-taught. The process of writing a script. Doesn't matter what kind of script it is, you still have to go through a step-by-step, day-by-day, scene-by-scene, line-by-line process of getting the words on the page, making the things into scenes. And so it doesn't matter how great your vision is, if you can't actually get the script completed, it's nothing. So therefore, I want to just show you the process that I figured out for myself in the 25-year career I had writing movies and television, in case it is helpful for you when you face the blank page. I think that if you watch me walk through it, you will find things that you might find useful for yourself. If you find it good, take it. If you don't use it. It's not like it's the best way. It's not like it's the only way. It's just a way to do it that might help you. Take from it what you will. You do not have to watch all of these. I'm just showing you, I'm showing up here so that I can answer questions and show you how it works. You want to drop in, watch an hour here and there. Cool, you'll get plenty from it. It's not like there's a big system that's all unified and you have to watch it and watch all of them. It just doesn't work that way. So, hello, Michael. How are you? Good to see you. We got some guests here watching. So I'm going to get right into it because what I'm trying to do, hello Kirby, is I am now rewriting my very rough first draft, way too rough, honestly. It behooves you to spend more time on the outline than I did. I didn't want to spend as long as I would ordinarily on an outline because I wanted you guys to see the whole process. I'm not going to show you every single step. I'm not going to do this as many drafts as I would ordinarily because the point here is teaching, not actually writing the best script I could write. Hello, Augustine. I do wish you luck. This is a good thing, writing and shooting short horror films. That is a great way to work. The more you do, the more you learn. That is the key to any art. Practice it. Do it. You will learn more from doing it than from studying 1,000 books. Okay, so let us, or videos, I might add, if you have the choice between writing something of your own or watching me, go write something. Do not waste your time on this if you could be writing. Because the main way you learn to write is to write a lot of scripts. You learn more from doing many scripts. If you just write a lot on one script forever and ever, that doesn't actually teach you that much. It's doing a bunch of them. Every time you learn, you grow. Every time you learn, you grow. Every time you do one, you learn and grow. All right. Hello, mystic musician. Truby's, I can't... I am not an expert on any of these books. Here, let's just take a second away from that. Here's the deal. Except for Sid Field's book, which came out in the early 1980s when I was learning how to write scripts, when I started, I haven't read most of these books because I was already a working professional and I didn't really want to have John Truby tell me the grand theory of writing when I had a script to write. So the truth is, most of screenwriting theory and teaching came after I learned to write scripts, and I've been teaching myself all along the way. I read the first few chapters of Truby, and it was okay, but Truby and McKee, they tend for me to have the problem of being a little too... I am going to tell you a story, I'm going to lecture you on my grand theory, and not nuts and bolts enough. That's why I'm doing this, actually, and that's why I formatted my lessons the way I did. There's plenty of theory out there, and if you have time and you want to absorb all these theories, but you should know that none of these unified theories of screenwriting really holds up. Like, they hold up only if you're looking at a very small selection of Hollywood scripts. When you start to look at the wider arc of film history, of film culture, of international film, of film for many generations. Honestly, none of these, like, this is the ultimate structure, ever pans out. I can show you scripts as, like, this is a brilliant script. It doesn't fit that form. So my basic take on this is, and I'm working on a little video about this, you should read and learn every possible theory you can. You should watch every video you can. You should read every book you can, as long as that's not taking away from the time from you actually writing. You should write first and study after. When you're done with work and you want to, wind down for an hour, read some Truby, read some McKee, read some Blake Snyder. I think that all of them have interesting and valuable insights. None of them is the answer. The answer is you write your scripts based in what you like, because you're going to be pulling together a unique set of influences and experiences and visions that only you have. And the whole point is that if you are spending your time trying to fit into somebody else's model, you are not actually following your talent to its fullest, because you're going to combine two things that nobody would have ever thought of combining, or four things. And you're going to say, oh, I'm going to take a little bit from this and a little bit of that, and I'm going to take a little bit from what happened to me when I was in summer camp, and I'm going to make that into a script. That's the most important thing. So yeah, you should absolutely know. I love a lot of these things. The problem with Truby and McKee and a lot of the other really dense books, the ones that you feel like you're reading great literary theory, is you're reading great literary theory. You're getting big explanations of things. And I think probably it's more important to say, you could do this or this or this, and this kind of thing works sometimes, and this is a trick you can use, because they're all tools for your toolbox. That is my thought. Yeah. It's not that they're... Hi, Dan. Good of you to check in. Glad you did. It's not that any of these are bad. Save the Cat is some sections of it are actually bad. They're just Looney Tunes. He's got these genres and things that are not genres. They're just weird little subgroups of things that happen to, he thought were cool. However, still, you never know. There's still value in reading it. I just wouldn't say this is the answer that I have to follow that formula. That said, I'm going to get to work. All right. Now, make a note. Okay, so we got through here. What I'm now doing is I've got a scene that runs another 6 pages, and I've got to get this down. There are a lot of people talking, and that tends to eat up page space and actually moves pretty fast. But the scene is not well structured. So you know what? Chemistry. Okay, so I'm just following the flow of these lines. What are we talking about? George is dead? George. Poison. CSK. The chemistry set killer is by CSK. By CSK. I think that, yeah. I'm trying, the truth is that's a really hard line to say. She's CSK style. He was getting too close. Poison, CSK style. It sounds sort of like fast food, but I like it. He was getting too close. He had the evidence and he was going to drop it. He was going to drop the evidence. He had the evidence. He was getting too close. He had the evidence. And now it's in. Now it's in George's attic. And now it's in. And now he was getting too close. He had the evidence, and now it's in George's attic. But the police. He had the evidence, and now it's in George's attic. But the bitch in control of the bitch in control of everything. but the bitch in control of everything won't let me in. What bitch? A police bitch? No, George's ex-wife, Madeline Morrison. This office manager from New Jersey with a stick up her butt. Is this her? Photos. Let's see. Hang on. Dialogue. You're welcome, Mystic Musician. By the way, I just to say, what I read of Truby, he had a lot of good points. I have nothing against Mr. Truby at all. I think that there's a difference between literary theory and workmanlike process or how to. And unfortunately, a lot of those books are kind of theoretical. So that's all. That's it. Do I have tips for natural dialogue? I will give you some tips to natural. Hi, Jean. No, you have that backwards. I normally spend much more time on the outline. In this particular project, it was going on for weeks, which honestly it should. You know, if I have if I have to write a script, sometimes half to 2/3 of the time that I work on the script is working on the outline, because the outline is where you make all the decisions that take all the time. Once you've made those decisions, writing the script is not really the hard part. Your question, it's still not enough? No, if you're finding that, if you can go through your outline and every scene has a point and a set of actions, and you know what it's about, then you're ready to go. I think that I can't tell why you feel it's not enough, but I can tell you that if it's no matter how much time, then no, that's not okay. You should get to writing. However, spending a lot of time, more time on the outline than the script is not a terrible thing. Like I said, I did not do it now in this step-by-step show because I was trying to let you watch the entire process, and I didn't want to drag out the perfectionism of getting everything right when this is not a project that has to be perfect. Okay. That said, now I am messed up in these scenes. So there you go. Okay, now here's the thing. I've got this bit where he's walking out, and I like the idea of explaining it, that Norman is going to... Here's the thing. What's going to happen here in this scene is that Norman's going to walk out of the shop and he's going to do the zoom as he's driving home. And that makes for a kind of cool scene. But at the end of it, he goes home, which is when we meet his home. But look at all these pages. So at the end of this sequence, Norman is in his car, and then he goes home, and then he goes out. So there's a part of me that's thinking, do I need that? Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. Okay, so I've got all these things that she says. All right, so. Norman leaves the shop and goes to his car. Still on the Zoom. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Intercut. All right. I want to finish this. I want to take it the way George wanted to, the way he wanted to. Or just ask her to give it to the cops. No, this is ours. This is a unicorn. This is a unicorn. This is ours. You know what? Here's the thing. This is the thing. This is a decisive end to the discussion, so I don't want to. How do I know the cops could bury it? The cops could bury it. There we go. Of which character? And essentially, that's all of these things are foreshadowings of their characters, or really introductions of their characters. All right. See, the thing is, I think she mentioned the cops earlier. Oh no, she didn't. We'll just give it to the police. The cops could bury it. Why would they bury it? Cover up their mistakes? Somebody let this guy. Think that was an accident? No, we're not giving it to anyone. No. Giving it to anyone. This is a unicorn. This is ours. You know what? I'm going to move this thing here. This is ours. There we go. I'll go get it. Okay. Cops could. Why would they bury it? To cover up mistakes. Actually, somebody let this guy go. Somebody. That was a coincidence. I think that was. There are no accidents. There are no accidents. That's it. Accidents. There we go. Oh yeah. The car scene. That's actually it's the car scene. Good point. I think that we need the car scene because it's just fun. But the question was, do I need him to leave the car, go home, and then at the end of the sequence, he's going to get back in his car and head out? So the question was, do we need him to go home? But I think we do. I think we need to give it time, and I think we need to make it clear that Norman is important. Norman is central. I'll go get it. She's not going to give it to us. I didn't say she'd give it. I said I would get it. Okay, let's get rid of this. Boom. Okay. Wait a second. Nobody is getting anything from this woman. She didn't do anything. She didn't do anything. Wait a second. Nobody's getting anything from this woman. She didn't do anything. See, anything. You always watch for, and this happens all the time. When you are writing, words tend to sort of stick in your head, and then you use them. So nobody is getting anything. She didn't do anything. Anything. There's two. You want to watch out for that. It's a thing that your brain just does without your thinking. Nobody's getting. She's. She's bystander. We don't even know. Let's cut this. Let's cut this. I'm just trying to just get this down to the point faster. Although honestly, it's going kind of too fast. But that's okay. Somebody let this guy out. Somebody let this guy get away 30 years ago. There are no accidents. That's no. We're not giving it to anyone. This is the unicorn. This is ours. We need to take over this power and finish this. I'll get it. This stuff from. I'll go get it. Yeah, that's right. I'll go get it. Okay. She's not going to give it to you. She's not going to give it to us. I didn't say she'd give it. I said I would get it. Okay, that's repetitive. I don't know. Let's not get trapped in old perceptions. Carl, how do you want to get it? I don't know. Convince her. I'm not comfortable with that. No worries then. I'll just break in. I'll break in. Hold on. Please don't say it like that. This is her address. She's at George's house. That's her number. Get rid of all this muting stuff. Thank you. I thought it was good advice. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just this scene goes on too long and I'm over describing, very clever cutting around between different locations, but the truth is I don't know that it's fun, and later on down the line I may re-describe it in some other way, but right now I gotta make this about the action. I gotta make this about the characters. So all right. I'm just cutting. Right, so the point is, all right. You cannot let him go to that house. Because it's not that woman's house, it's George's house. All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's getting there. The point is, this is fun. Nope, you cannot let this go. You cannot let him go to that house. See, this is really kind of a... She's at George's house now. She's at George's house. Okay. I think we can set up some guidelines. Okay. But I kind of like the insincerity of this, but I think we can set up some guidelines. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this for now because it's just fun and zine is important. Don't negate my... It doesn't negate my humanity, dude. That's fair. Got a point. It's sort of the same joke twice. That doesn't negate my humanity and just because, so I'm going to cut this one. Okay, Carl, you promise not to harm Georges while you're getting the evidence, except in self-defense. I'm sorry, no. I like to pretend we're detectives and all, but I can't be involved in this. This is effed up. I'm out. Okay. You know, I cut a page, which is good. Right. That was just a repetitive bit of description. Let's see. All right. At the moment, at least that's slightly better. Now, I believe this actually I rethought. Hold on. Okay. Gonna move this camera and stuff down to where oh, wait a second. Somewhere in here in this outline, I've got Xena heading. Oh yeah, she heads out. Yeah, here. Okay, there we go. Boom. That's where Cameron is. Okay, so I'm just looking to see what else. I'm just cleaning up the outline so that it matches what I wrote. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, that's not in there. Okay, so at the moment we are moving ahead. The truth is there's still work to be done on all these scenes, but sometimes you just like, you make you know, if you get it like 10% better every time, you go through it 10 times, it's 100% better. So, I got this. I will not do anything to make you sorry. You entrusted me with this mission. I kind of like that. This is another case where it's like a thing I want to have, but I don't know if we have time to do it the way. See, he has to punish someone who did wrong. But it shouldn't be minor. Because later on, we have to meet him again, and he's dealing with the aftermath of this violence. He's going to do something violent. I'm not sure. I am actually not sure whether this should go here or later. What I'm looking at is there's this beat which establishes Dundowski's character as violent, and it's not actually terrible to have him be flipping out over something minor because it makes us scared of him. The point of this is to suggest that this guy who's going to George's house and will be trying to steal something from Madeline is dangerous. That is the point I'm trying to make. For entrusting me. Hey, I got this. I will not do anything to make you regret. To make you sorry for entrusting me with this mission. Yeah, that's not bad. Except it's sort of the same thing here, so. Yeah, this is the same beat twice, really. She's saying, hey, are you actually in control? And here he's checking a gun, which makes his Roger that seem I think I'm just going to move this. Or, hey, I got this. Why don't we just move that to here? There we go. I got this. Hey, I got this. It's yeah, I like that better. It's hey, I will not do. I got this. I will not do anything to make you regret entrusting me with this mission. There we go. Shuts his laptop. Actually, this. And firing it into a nearby car. Nearby car several times. There we go. All right, that's, well, you know, we cut a bunch of things, we clarified. I will have to read it over again later. I will tell you, actually, this is an interesting thing for me. When I'm reading this script here while I'm writing with you guys, I'm looking at less than half a page, right? Because I format the page to fit this screen that you're seeing me in my little circle on. When I am actually writing, I would actually look at a full page at a time. I would be moving through it much. So I'm actually kind of over-focused on the moment and less focused on the big flow. So the truth is, in order to read this and actually have a good sense of it, I need to read it with regular size pages, which I'm reading the right amount of information per page, because I have a sense of the proportions of scenes developed over 25 years of working with a certain amount of lines per page. So the truth is, I can't tell the pace of some of this stuff that I'm showing you how to write because I'm showing it in just this narrow slice. But it seems like this is okay. Yeah, I'm going to take this out. It's the same joke too many times. Hey guys, see, when she says I don't think it's productive everyone talking at once, she really means I don't want to hear what Norman has to say because he's right. Okay. I'm not throwing on this. Thank you very much. I appreciate your glasses. It's not that, it's the proportions. If I were to do this, oh, look at that. Yeah. It's the, oh, now I've messed everything up. It's the proportions of a screen to a page. That's what's wrong. Proportions. All right. That's a good question. What was the best advice someone gave me as a new writer? Here's the problem. I was a new writer for like 15 years. I was a struggling writer. But I will tell you, actually, as a new writer, after 20 years, when I finally was working in the business, I got an introduction to a producer. John Sayles' producer. John Sayles is a legend of independent filmmaking in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. Anyway, John Sayles' producer had lunch with me. She read my scripts, and I was asking her about independent filmmaking, and basically what I was saying is, when do you get to the point? How do you get to the point where you can do whatever you want? And she said, never. She said, you seem to have this weird idea that you know you have some kind of situation where you become the auteur, where everyone is just supporting you and the company is not asking questions and stuff. And that's actually what I learned from that. It hit me like with shocking power to suddenly realize that we all get fed by the media and by the film critical establishment. And I don't mean that in a mocking way. I mean that you have to have a film critical establishment. But the point is, film theorists, film analysts, film fans, they want to tell the story of how people made the great things. And they do that in a way that is a good story for us to read and to imagine, which has nothing to do with how these things actually get made. And one of the great things is now there is some decent behind the scenes how things got made in podcasts and stuff, where you learn how much of what we think of as a story of artistic vision working its way through was never that way. In fact, I just saw on Twitter somebody published the casting lists for Pulp Fiction and who was Tarantino's top choices. And fascinatingly, many of the people who became legends in that film were not his first choice. Michael Madsen was the first choice for John Travolta's part. John Travolta was the second choice. Tarantino said he wrote the part for Michael Madsen. Michael Madsen apparently was busy or something. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, and that's with somebody who was powerful. You have no idea how much every project is this mess of compromises and unexpected turns and changes. It is not about one person imposing their vision on a process. That almost never happens, but it happens all the time in the reports you read because they want to tell that story. I think partly the media people, the people who write entertainment media, genuinely believe it, but they're completely outside the business and have no idea. They do not understand that that's not true, but also the people in the business have a vested interest in telling that story. It makes a better story. And remember, every story that you read that comes out when a movie or a show premieres and you have these little, like interviews with the artist, that is a publicity piece that is arranged by the publicity department of the releasing company. It is not like there's just one, I think, in this week's New York Times where Henry Winkler is talking about being in Barry. And I'm sure it's valuable. There's an interview with Bill Hader about Barry in the New Yorker, which was wonderful. But that's not the point. Those people are talking to those reporters at this time because the new season of Barry is coming out and they need to publicize it. And so therefore they are doing the best they can to tell that story that will sell the product. And nobody ever says the nasty behind the scenes crap that actually happens because it would be career suicide. When I was interviewed for behind the scenes stuff on the movies that I wrote for, I had tons of ugly stuff to say that I did not say because it would be ugly. And no one would ever want to work with me again because they would be like, oh, I don't want to work with him. He's going to say all sorts of ugly stuff to the press. So yeah, the point is the valuable, because the question was best advice, was stop thinking that there is in some way John Sayles, sorry, got distracted there. There's some way this moment when you have the John Sayles situation where John Sayles actually had deals which said, you can't rewrite my script, you have to do them the way I say, you can't, I have final cut, etc., etc. That is an extraordinarily rare thing, extraordinarily. And yet we all think that's the business. It's not. It only happens in a freak occurrence when somebody has had a hit and they can make a good deal. It's just not how things are. And that was the best advice, was to say, stop thinking that you are hanging in until you get to the point where you get your way. You will always have to fight for your way and you will always have to compromise your way. And that is really the truth. So it will get worse. No, that wasn't. That was, she was saying that, like, this is just reality. Like, your problem is not reality. Your problem is that you have no idea what reality is. Reality can be worked with, but what can't be worked with is if you're in reality, but believing that there's this fairy tale. That is the best advice I got. I do not know him personally. I met one of his producers. Yes, John, who directed Eight Men Out and Matewan and Limbo, which is amazing. Yes, the great John Sayles. I do not know him. I had one lunch with one of his producers. No. It's not. It was one of his early producers. He had two female producers in his early years, and that's who I was talking about. Okay, we're heading towards the end of the hour, so I think I am going to. Am I going to stop? Yeah. Secaucus 7 it's legendary. It's of its time. It was shot under extraordinarily limited circumstances, and as such, I put it in there with Cassavetes and a lot of other people where the fact of its filming, the way of its filming, is more important than the actual content of it, which is dated at this point, but cool. Anyway, so John Sayles, I love Secaucus 7. Secaucus 7 is okay. I actually think he did better work later, including Brother from Another Planet, which what happened was he was working on some bigger project, and that project fell through, and he was like, right before production, and he said, like, let's just make a movie. Like, they more or less made it up on the spot. Joe Morton played the lead. He played an alien who came down to Earth, and he happened to be black, and being an alien, he doesn't realize that black is an issue on our planet. And so he's just like, what the hell is this about? Anyway, it's sort of like E.T. with a black guy in New York. It's pretty cool. But like I said, Limbo, so many of John Sayles. I actually, City of Hope it's talky, but it's good. To me, in its own way. I am always hesitant when I recommend things because they are of their time and they are valuable for what they are, but they are not always accessible to a 21st century audience. You're welcome. All right. So, we got to North. This is the beginning of a new scene. It seems like the appropriate place to stop. And so I will stop. I will say it's been great to talk to you guys. I will see you tomorrow. We have another day in the week, and we are going to get further in the script. We're doing well. We're on page 20 of 72, which is a lot less than the 94 we started with. So, great to see you. Go write something. Oh, wait. I forgot. Somebody asked about dialogue. I'm sorry. Way back at the beginning of the episode, somebody said, let me see. Jared Krachevsky asked about tips for natural dialogue. So I'm going to give you a few minutes of tips for natural dialogue. I looked at my notes as I clicked the title card there. Natural dialogue. First of all, listen to how people talk. That's just, number one on the hit parade. Spend a lot of time just listening to the way people talk in real life, not on screens, in real life. Possibly even record some of them and then type it out and see. Not to say that you should write like people actually talk, because that is diffuse and difficult. However, you will discover that people, first of all, they speak in less logical ways. It's more like pinball. Things are bouncing off, or pool. Things are bouncing off each other. People are reacting in the moment. Very often they're not listening to each other very well, and everyone has an agenda. That's the other thing I would say is a tip for natural dialogue here, is these characters should be listening to each other in the moment. That is one of the most powerful ways to make dialogue work, is to make sure that the character is actually listening and reacting from their own needs in the moment. In other words, they are not saying, oh, what plot point do I have to accomplish? They're saying, I want to get that guy out of the house because my friend's coming over and I don't want him to meet. Whatever it is that they have hidden in their agenda, whatever action they are taking, that will power natural dialogue. The other thing is just don't make it too formal. Don't make it too nice. Give it some back and forth. And I think that that's it. The other thing is, and really this is this is a general truth, but especially for dialogue. Watch this video, Take Art Apart, that I made, because what I'm talking about in it is how if you like something, if you think dialogue sounds good in a certain thing, uh, study it. Like, watch it over and over and see how the dialogue does what it does. Like, for instance, A Few Good Men, which is not remotely natural dialogue, but it is very nicely flowing dialogue, so it feels heightened natural. It feels adorable, and that's very likable to me. So what I would do is study. Like, I would actually type out scenes. So, hit pause, type the lines, and look at them. See the difference between on the page and when they're spoken. Because one of the main things is the way that people read and the way that they sound are different. And you want to be able to go back and forth between those. You need both. You need to be able to make it read well. You need to be able to make your points and to shape your scene. But you really want to try and give it stylistic things that you've carried over from other voices in other scripts, that you've said, oh, I like the way that sounds. Steal it, memorize it, find ways. Don't steal the line, steal the style of the line. Some people, like, they'll talk like, few words bouncing back and forth. Some people, they'll be very quiet and they'll only speak very thoughtfully. So you want to make what's natural is when the character has their way of speaking and they talk to someone else who has their way of speaking. Those are some tips for natural dialogue. Post credit scene. Yeah, I'm teasing the next installment. Hey, Marital Toso. Yeah, just getting out. Yeah. Okay. So now this is the real thing. This is the real final bit. Okay, go write something.